Today is Wednesday, April 27th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 42, Week 8.
This episode was titled Game of Chicken. And once again, that was Probst. He inserted the title for us. Probst got Mike to say it, to repeat it back to him. So maybe we can give partial credit to Mike there for the title. Back to Kula Kula. It's night 16. Romeo tells everyone no hard feelings.
It's a game. Then he tells us
in his confessional,
fake.
I was lied to. All these people are fake. And they're dumb. They're dumb because they won't play the way I want them to. That's classic. Almost every season you'll get someone complain about how someone else is dumb because they won't do what I say.
Well, we saw a fair amount of that this evening.
He got High's goat, though. Tori, did you vote for me? No, I voted for Chanel.
He's like, I thought so.
High tells us this was a hinky vote, and it certainly upset him. And he knows that Romeo did it.
And yet Romeo lied flat out.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me. I didn't vote for her. I voted for her. Mm-hmm.
Then in his confessional again, I just wanted to see him squirm. And they're dumb. And anyone aligned with High is dumb. And I'm going to continue to create chaos. Yes, an agent of chaos now moving forward. Still here at Kula Kula, it's day 17. This whole episode takes place.
Day 17.
In one day.
All day.
Jam-packed. They're at the water well. Roxroy asks, who's next? High tells us, well, it's Romeo. And Roxroy proceeds to talk over him. He said, hear me out. Because this ends up being a key point, this whole talking over him thing. Mm-hmm. Hyde did not like that. So Roxroy's got a plan. I think he's adopted someone else's plan. I'm not sure how he ended up getting credit for it. But Jonathan, Mike, and Roxroy are working together.
Yep, he proposes all-guy alliance.
The Five Guys Alliance.
Well, yeah. And, boy, Mike and Jonathan are on board.
I'm in, bro. Fist bump. Here, fist bump.
No.
Come on, fist bump, bro.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to fist bump me in the face. It's not how that works.
Oh, I thought your nose was your fist.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so.
Mike says, I would love an all-male alliance. He is in. He's on board.
Okay, here's the thing, though. How come Roxroy was the one going around and talking to everybody about
What's
it?
his big plan?
But Roxroy.
Yes. He woke up on day 17. He said, you know what? Mm-hmm. I think I'm playing Survivor.
He should have stayed asleep.
I'm a mover and a shaker. Let's go shake some trees.
Uh-huh.
And we see how well he was received. They show him talking to Omar. He's pitching his Guys Alliance. And I loved it. Omar's first response was, you don't talk to me at all until now, and you want this Guys Alliance. Well, guess what?
And coming
I'm not part
on
of
that
it.
Strongly.
Yes.
And, he's like, hey, Mike and Jonathan are on board. Hey, they're good to go. They like it.
Well, it's not going to fly when he's going and talking to High. He's already pissed High off.
Yeah, well, obviously it wasn't going over good with Omar either, so.
High says, it's only on Roxroy's terms. He's quickly becoming a vote-out option, High tells us.
Well, High was actually very offended, so though I doubt it takes a whole lot to offend High if you're not right with him on something. He seems to get a little...
The drama threshold seems to be low for General High.
Yes.
I totally
it does.
acknowledge that. On to the immunity and reward challenge. 9 minutes into the episode, we were both a little surprised by that.
We were like, what? What time is it?
Okay.
9 minutes.
It's the classic balance on the doghouse in the ocean challenge where you can move.
Pyramid platform.
Yeah, where you.
It's called.
Yeah, that's what Propes called it. I always thought of it as a floating doghouse too. Mm-hmm. But you got to balance on these tiny little boards that are nailed to the side of the triangle platform as you move up. But you can tell the ocean's rough again, just like the previous one where they got washed out. Yeah.
And boy, it didn't take long to just dash everything for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just sure Tori would win that. She's going to win another immunity, so I wasn't going to choose her to go home because she's going to win
on
immunity.
A streak. 5-time winner.
And I'm going to put Jonathan to go home because Lindsay was mad at him.
Very bold.
And blah, blah, blah. All this. And then he wins. Tori goes off the perch.
So we're not going to talk about it at all. You're just going to cut to this? Okay.
I am talking about me.
Yes.
This was my emotional response.
Propes tells us 2 teams of 5. There's going to be 2 immunity necklaces up, 1 in each group of 5.
Yep.
And there's going to be 2 people voted out tonight. And the last one to fall wins kebabs.
Wait
a big veggie platter.
Who else won immunity?
High. General High.
Oh, that didn't register.
You were busy with your own little internal narrative.
Well, because I had this whole scenario.
Yes.
How this was going to happen. And they were going to catch on to the guys' alliance. And they were going to take one of the guys out. And then it was going to end up being 2 guys go home. And it would be 4 women and 4 guys left. And
Maryanne, Omar, Roxroy, Drea, Ty, they are in the water.
Yeah, really fast. Under a minute.
A little bit of a showdown between Romeo and High, so that was cool. But High ends up winning that, and now he's holding on, trying to win some veggies for his group of 5. And it's down to Lindsay versus Jonathan versus High. I really thought Lindsay was going to win this because she's so small, and she's the smallest, shortest. Probably she might weigh a little more. She got more muscle than Romeo, I'm pretty sure. But she's really she's like built to win it. Compact. Yes. Yeah, there we go.
And close to
She's got low center of gravity. Yes.
Okay. And I get what you're saying.
I don't know if they do rodeo in New Jersey, but she looked like she had some experience either breaking horses or riding bulls. Maybe it's one of those mechanical bulls. I don't know. She was doing awesome, yeah. But eventually,
I was surprised that when Lindsay went in the water, High didn't just go, it's Jonathan. You just jump in.
No way General High's just going to give it up like that. No, he gave it his best, but even High ends up falling to Jonathan. So somehow, there's all these miraculous saves. It was like save after save after because
for all of them,
the waves were coming in. Yeah, I like. That's probably been the most exciting that challenge has ever been. And it was really quick, too.
Well, I don't know that they've ever had waves like that.
No, they haven't.
Moving them. That was pretty intense. You couldn't fear the water and do that,
Yep, so High wins 1 necklace, Jonathan wins the other, and he gets the kebabs. And Jonathan, somehow getting that necklace changed him. The immunity necklace,
because
he strutted over there in a way we had yet to see. So you could tell something about his demeanor had changed.
Well, I really like Jonathan, and I have all season. But this week, I saw a little bit different side of him. Mm-hmm. And, strategically.
Right, we'll get to that in just a minute.
Yes,
but
sir.
But first, the orange team gets sent back to the old Taku camp because they're going to be going to tribal first.
Well, that's no fun.
Mike tells us that they have the numbers. Romeo's out. It's just that easy.
Mm-hmm. That's when you start to sweat. Well, I had Romeo going, so.
So it looked like it was going to be an easy pick with Romeo going, but Omar's got a slightly different take on things. He said, when I look at these 2 people, when I look at Romeo and I look at Roxroy, Romeo's somebody I have and can work with. Mm-hmm. Roxroy, he's inflexible. He just doesn't offer anything to Omar's game.
Well, even Romeo had accepted he was going. He's like, well, it's me. I'm going to go.
Nothing I can do.
Nothing for it. And then Omar throws him a line.
Yeah, he acknowledges that Romeo's been loyal to him, so he's going to see what he can do.
Well, and that
was a great talk with Romeo.
Roxroy is not shapeable, he says.
Unshapable, yeah. I liked Romeo's realization when Omar says, "Look, we got to get High on board. He's the key."
He hates me.
Yeah, how ironic.
Well, but High...
And this has happened before. This is why you really should try to keep doors open when you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
If you let your emotions get away from you and those doors close, you run out of options that could keep you alive in the game.
Well, and realistically, Roxroy was the last person to upset him by talking over him, and I'm sure he felt disrespected. Mm-hmm. And so, but at least High knew that I cannot vote against Mike. I would have to tell Mike.
Need to keep Mike's trust is what he's really focused on, and the trust of the greater alliance.
Well, because he already knows Mike will hold a grudge.
Yeah.
If you do him wrong, that's it. There's no second chance. Now, High gave Romeo a second chance because everybody wants to get rid of him, so he's not really a threat now.
Yeah, High said, emotionally, I'm totally on board to get rid of Romeo. But Roxroy doesn't. I'm totally on the same page with Omar. And that Roxroy doesn't offer us anything going forward.
Yep.
Mike's point seems super solid. I was just sure that he was going to get High to turn around on this.
Yes, because I do think it's going to come back and hurt them.
You don't want to look untrustworthy to the big alliance.
Turning on the alliance.
Not at this point. Yeah.
Exactly.
It wasn't even so much that it was about Roxroy. It was...
No, it wasn't really about him.
And Mike seemed pretty clear they had given their word they were going to get rid of Romeo.
I think that was the big thing, is that they had a solid 8. And then they took one of the 8 out on the second vote-off after the merge. It's like, what? That was the big issue, as far as I'm concerned, is that they did that, and they did it quickly, and in that way, and everybody wasn't included that was in the alliance on making that decision. So I think for that reason alone, it was a bad decision. Not that I cared if Roxroy went or didn't, or Romeo. It didn't matter to me.
There's been a slow burn, but
slow burn.
I didn't want to give up on General High, and I haven't, because he's very creative, and you could see even with working with Omar and making this happen. And he's right. Roxroy didn't offer anything to his game in the long term. Roxroy had only demonstrated one thing, is that you can't really count on him, and he's inflexible. So it does make sense to a degree. Mm-hmm. But it seemed like it would have been in his best interest to maintain the trust of the bigger alliance right now.
Exactly. That to me was the key point.
I'm almost convinced that these immunity necklaces on day 17 were cursed, because they got these two people acting not in their best interest, unnaturally. Okay, back to Kula Kula. How about that big pan of veggies? Jeff said kebabs, but there was like a huge pan of broccoli and onions and like maybe bell peppers and mushrooms, in addition to the kebabs that they were grilling.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at that kebab that Jonathan was eating, and what I say, he could eat 20 of those.
Oh, yeah, easy. Definitely. And Lindsay tells us that Tori is an easy target.
Yeah. I would have thought so. I thought Tori would go if she didn't win. I was just so sure she's going to win that balance challenge, because before she's been so intense with her focus on things, and I really thought she would have what it took for that particular challenge. So,
in a confessional, Jonathan tells us this could be good for me. I've been waiting. I've been holding back so that people they weren't scared of me, that they weren't afraid. But
now
this
I can be powerful.
This is my moment. He's got that necklace, and he's got a plan.
I thought, he chose to be powerful with the 4 remaining women in the game.
Okay. You're saying it's that and not the necklace?
Is that a smart move?
Well,
to go against.
I think that question is going to answer itself.
That's why I thought he was going to go home.
It's going to answer itself in the recap here. So we first see him pitching to Maryanne. He says, let's target Drea. Let's get rid of that idol. And then he made his first blunder. He says, and we'll tell Drea that we're voting for you. So Drea will vote for you, but really we're voting Drea out.
What?
Well, Tori's right there. Why wouldn't you use that? And
exactly.
And there's animosity there. So do you think he didn't know the Tori Drea
if I'd have been
history?
Maryanne, I'd be like, whoa, no, put my name down for no reason. No, that's not necessary.
And then he did appear to be talking down to her. She was annoyed by that. She said, he's talking to me like I'm a child. What the heck?
Well, that's true.
To that, I would respond, yes, and Maryanne, you act like a child most of the time, but you're right. He should not be talking down to you that way, especially when he needs something from you, and he needs a lot from you.
And he's in you're in his alliance, he's in your thought.
And maybe in not tell her, you ask her. It'd be much better. Ask her who we should tell Drea.
Yeah, he wasn't asking.
Did you hear my question? You think he didn't know the history with Drea and Tori?
I doubt he did.
Because I just don't get why he, in his mind, it's a better idea to tell Drea that she should vote for Maryanne. Yeah.
Well, actually,
okay, so that's his first blunder.
It was not a smart move because, and what he ended up doing when he spoke with Drea proved that because he actually said, "Oh, I didn't try to get her idol out," And it's like, hello. You know that Drea has an idol.
You should. Maybe you don't remember.
No, he did.
Well, Maryanne didn't seem to waste any time talking to Tori because all this is happening pretty quick. They've just got hours before they head off to tribal council. Maryanne tells Tori, hey, Jonathan says Drea wants to target Drea. And that makes Tori happy. She says, well, there's still hope for me then.
And why would he argue it?
And then this is when next he talked to Drea, which, like you said, he told Drea we're going after Maryanne to get rid of the idol. Drea says, okay, that's fine. And then her confessional, she says, total red flag because I have an idol.
Yes.
So if that's your only reason.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
And then we have the great discussion with Jonathan and Lindsay down on the beach. Wow, this was... The editors had fun with this, too, because of the music that they used. You pointed it out.
Yes, the music that...
So he lays out his master plan to Lindsay, and Lindsay seems like she's listening. And then she starts mirroring it back to him. And then she just stumps him by saying, okay, but what if Drea does play her idol?
And then Maryanne goes home.
And we don't have an idol, and we don't have a vote.
Wait, we need to think.
Yeah.
I thought, it never occurred to him?
No. And they totally... I don't even think they did him dirty.
Tori all along.
Exactly. I don't think they did him dirty with the edit either. I think he really was stumped by that.
No, that was genuine.
They kind of played the cartoon dunce music in the background for him.
I was like, Jonathan.
She couldn't get him to listen to a backup plan at all. That's unfortunate.
No wonder Omar did the strategy because he doesn't really have any. Because he only thinks it part way through. He doesn't follow that thought all the way to the end.
It was just like with the triangles. I got the answer. It's 11.
Right.
Omar's like,
forgot he did
I think I'm in the 30s.
Not 11.
Yeah. But I'm not done.
And so Jonathan said, okay, I'll
that.
go work on something else. So, yeah,
Lindsay wanted a backup plan. It wasn't that hard.
Well, the thing, too, is that he kept saying she wouldn't listen to him. You're not listening to her.
Right. She was right. It was classic, but she was totally right.
It felt like on some level he really did know she was right, and that's why he dug in a little bit.
Yeah? You think that might have been it?
I do.
It's like, dang it, she's right again. Well, I'm not going to let her win this one. I've got the necklace.
It's like she already won.
Yeah.
Dude. So anyway, I was so disappointed in him for that. And it did seem like he was almost a little overly confident, or I'm the only guy I've got to lead this group of women to...
Now, he didn't say that.
No, he never said that. That's my projection onto how he was acting.
Okay.
That's mine. I'll own it.
Okay.
But that's how it came across to me. That's what I would have been thinking. Excuse me?
I actually thought Lindsay had it on lock, though, as they headed to tribal council. Because she was talking to Maryanne, said, look, we go for Tori. And all they have to do is bring Drea in. Drea would be more than happy to vote Tori out, given their history.
They don't need Jonathan at all.
And it's like,
you vote however you want
go ahead, Jughead. You knock yourself out.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
We're not. So we're going to do it the strategic, intelligent way, and you just do your thing.
Convinced this is his time for a big move.
That's like, well, that's why I said, I don't know why having that around his neck
empowered
him so much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, they were cursed. The waves, the ocean didn't even want them out there. Yes.
I think you're onto something.
Yep.
They're cursed.
Punishment. The survivor gods weren't done. They were night 17. We're at tribal council, and it's pouring rain.
Oh, how awful. Oh, High was so cold. He was shivering so hard.
Maryanne later, too.
Yeah. You could tell they were all.
Poor Chanel, she had to sit through both of them, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And Jeff. But and Roxroy.
You reacted to Jeff because his hair was wet.
Oh, my gosh, that is not a good look.
Well, it was raining, Joanne.
I know, but they had it. Oh, that was not a good look. It was not flattering to Jeff.
Okay.
Was my point.
Living in that downpour.
It was not his normal handsome self with that.
Omar tells us, well, you got to live through this bad part, but then you ascend once you come out the other side, having lived through it. So that is exactly the right way to look at the tough times when you're out there in the weather.
Yep.
Mike said when they went to 2 teams of 5, it blew away plan A. They had to scramble, come up with something else.
Everything they'd calculated was gone.
High says you have to adapt and be flexible. Roxroy said, well, I was just pretty mellow today. I was chilling. And that's when we get the title from Probst about a game of chicken.
Little like a game of chicken.
Mike agreed, saying, yep, definitely played it a little safe today. Didn't spend a lot of time scrambling.
Yeah. Why do you think Jeff chose to pull Roxroy in by asking him, well, how's the game shifting for you, Roxroy? Why specifically did he ask him that question?
I don't know. But Roxroy didn't really answer it. He was just, his reply was, well, it was a mellow day today.
Yeah, he was today.
Roxroy's contrasting with the other guys about how they have to adapt. He's like, no.
Well,
Romeo says, in the all-male tribe, it's just grunt, and then we got it sorted, and we're going to chill.
And Romeo said, well, it was a different dynamic without women around.
Yes.
So I'm sure it was.
Roxroy chimes in, no change in plans for me, sticking to the plan.
Yeah, nothing changed my mind. Yeah, I thought that you're not helping yourself any because you decide who you're going to vote for and you never change your mind. Doesn't matter what everybody else does. And that is not a good way to be with your alliance.
We both had Romeo going, right? But we started to worry because as has been the historical case, Roxroy was demonstrated to be out of step with his group.
Yes. And usually whoever was out of step last goes home first.
So nobody plays any idols or advantages, no surprises there.
Nope. But nobody had one but Mike, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Romeo, we get the first vote for Romeo, and then it's Roxroy.
You betcha.
Roxroy. You're out of here.
He didn't seem all that surprised, did he?
He seemed to take it in stride.
Yeah.
I'm not sure getting soaked out there and given, the other challenges he's had.
It's like, okay, fine. Just let me go get something to eat and get inside.
Get warm.
Nice warm bed. Okay.
I'm going to sleep inside. These guys are going to go back and sleep in the rain.
And Jeff says, get over there
off to the jury.
With Chanel and the jury. And he's like, I think he would have rather just gone on.
He did have one little biting phrase there. I don't know if you caught it or not, but he said, well, I hope High and Romeo freeze. Yeah.
I thought he said High and Mike. You thought he said Romeo?
Hi and Romeo, yeah.
I thought he said
Hi and Romeo
Mike.
did this. I hope they freeze. That was what I wrote down.
Okay. Well, I wrote down Hi and Mike.
Time for the second tribal council.
Go back and check that.
Drea is shocked, surprised.
Well, you could see that for sure.
Yeah, definitely surprised several of them coming in.
And Maryanne was just as cold as Hi had been.
Yep, right to the shivering. Drea says that she was certainly surprised. She doesn't know what to make of it. You could tell she's doing some heavy-duty processing.
Oh, yeah. And struggling with it. When
Yep.
Jeff said...
Not clear what it is exactly yet, but...
Well, you can't. That's too much data to absorb all that in 1 second. And then Jeff just pipes up and asks questions. She's like, well, it changes your mindset.
Yep. Lindsay said, yep, definitely threw us off seeing that. And then back to Drea, she says, well, it's back to the drawing board for me. I have to see where I fit. And so she's still processing, churning on this.
Tori did not lose her focus. She said, hey, it frees people up. Maybe willing to, work with some other people now.
Consider different options, yep.
So she's still playing the game. But it really seemed to...
Didn't rock Maryanne as much initially. She's talking about how, hey, you have to look further down the line. It's not always in the group of five. You have to be considering the long game, which is what she was trying to say before when her and Drea went back and forth.
Yeah.
And Maryanne's looking at the longer game, and I think Drea's looking at the immediate right here.
Yeah, she's like,
the truck
this is
that just hit
total reset for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was happening was part of what Mike said. They're not going to trust us. Roxroy's in our alliance, and we vote him off when they're not around. They won't trust us.
There's that, but then Drea says, then she finally gets to her conclusion and works it out. Yeah, and she says, it looks like the black contestants are being voted out.
Absolutely.
And that this happens all the time, that they go bam, 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 and they're out.
Well, and you objected to that it happens all the time.
Yeah, I think Jeremy and Earl and
Vesepia,
and who's been some of the runners up, like Tasha Fox. I can't think. There's certainly cases that are exceptions to what she's saying. She made it sound like an absolute, like they always get voted out. I'm like, hold on.
She's
I understand where she's coming from too.
Yeah, she's reacting emotionally in the moment too, and sometimes you say things that maybe you do or don't mean absolutely.
She absolutely felt that was the case. That's what she was looking at.
Absolutely.
And she says, you know what? I'm gonna put the brakes on. I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen. That we don't go boom, 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 just like that. At least for me. And she says,
I can't let that happen.
Yeah, I'm playing the idol. I am going to be in the game.
I have the power to change that so that doesn't happen that way. So, and I think that's when Maryanne went, right, and I have to too.
I think that came a little later for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
More.
I mean, Drea's had more life experience, and she's had that a lot more time in her life to think about what representation means and that burden, like we heard even last season. And so it took Maryanne a little longer to get there, but she came to the same conclusion too.
Also feel that, she was concerned and about not allowing people to say certain things about why she stayed in the game. That she was earning her place in the game by playing the idol.
I kind of understood that, yeah, but at the same time, it's
know that we're capable.
Yeah, that's true. We can't fully
that completely
because we don't live that.
I don't think we can.
Yeah,
but
she was okay.
I want to try to understand, but
yeah,
the bottom line is, I feel she should do what she feels is best for her.
The flip side of that is the kind of people who would say the thing that she was worried about, they are already saying it. They found some other reason to say it.
And I would have said the heck with it myself. But
they live from a place of fear, and it causes them to say really mean things.
I don't think she felt the freedom to do that. She felt obligated.
Yeah. Yeah,
And so,
Maybe.
and that's her choice.
Yeah, she definitely came to a conclusion.
Is it a good game move? I don't know that it was a good game move, but at that point,
to lose her idol,
it wasn't just about the game at that point.
Right. It definitely went outside, just like we've seen it happen before, where it went even bigger.
And like I said, I don't think we're capable of understanding completely. So
I like that they had the exchange too, that you got to hear Jonathan and talking to Drea and saying, "Hey, I'm not racist," and it comes off sounding like that.
Like you're calling me a racist.
Yeah. And I was glad to see them work through that. And of course Drea said, "Well, it's not about you."
Well, but she did dig in and say, "Were you going to send me home?" Well,
yeah, he didn't.
He was.
He didn't answer that. That was part of his plan.
Exactly.
We don't know what the final plan was because I think Lindsay.
She would have been over there too.
Yeah.
And to her, that would have been point in case.
Right, and she's looking over there and she sees Chanel and she sees Roxroy and she thinks this pattern's happening. Yeah. But my first thought was, wait a minute, didn't you put Chanel over there?
Roxroy
voted for Chanel
her there because they voted with their overall alliance.
Yeah, and so that didn't come from that place.
Roxroy's alliance went against him.
Yeah,
and therefore
you can see what this burden, how it can warp your game.
They went after
the burden
Roxroy,
that Drea and Maryanne are playing under.
If you look at it from her perspective, the other guys went after Roxroy. Jonathan was coming after her, and maybe Lindsay and Mary. She didn't know who all, but he wanted her, and she got that truth out. And so I can understand.
I don't think she did get that truth out.
Oh no, I think he gave it up. That they were.
Well, they didn't show it. Maybe you're right, and we know that that was his plan.
Of course, I'm right.
But I don't know that was Lindsay and Maryanne's and Drea's plan, because they easily could have controlled that with Tori going. But in any case, this stuff hit Drea like a truck, and then it snowballed and hit Maryanne too. And so they decide, look, we got to play these idols, and it's another historical tribal council because they don't end up voting. Yeah. Probe said, look, you don't have to go through all that. We can just take care of it out here.
Well, I do think that I kind of think they were targeting Tori. That was the last thing we heard, and just not telling Jonathan. Mm-hmm. But Jonathan was still targeting Drea. So, even though the others might not have. But
maybe that's why he felt that even stronger. He's like, but I wasn't targeting you because of, your race. I just wanted to get rid of your idol because you're too powerful.
Well, and they might have told Jonathan, well, we're going to do a split vote, because you remember Lindsay told Tori, we're still going to do a split vote. Mm-hmm. Even though Drea says she's going to, but we're still going to do a split vote.
But that's kind of what Jonathan told Lindsay to tell her.
Well, we don't know what he told her.
I thought we heard it.
I didn't think we did, so I didn't.
Okay.
But he did whisper something to Lindsay. He talked to Maryanne too. But anyway, that was my thought. Maybe, that's what was going down.
Certainly another bigger than the game moment like Lindsay was talking about.
Yes.
It's Survivor's never fair, and I'm certain that some of those things have happened because they've had episodes with racist castaways before.
True.
There's no doubt about that.
I don't believe personally that was going on with their vote against Roxroy. I think Roxroy earned his vote out.
Yes. Well, it's
by who he was being.
There's causation and coincidence. It's the classic kind of thing.
Yeah.
Fire trucks don't cause fires, but you always see fire trucks at fires.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But I also don't want to judge how somebody else.
Well, yeah, we're not saying they shouldn't feel the way they should.
No, they absolutely have the right.
It's also okay to point
feel.
out when someone says something and it's not correct, too.
Yes,
even if that is part of their feelings.
Yeah, true. And so we know that there have been Black Survivor winners, and so that part wasn't. But I can understand her saying it.
And runners up, and certainly that have made it further in the game.
Everybody has a right to their opinion, even if we don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make it true, but you can have your opinion for sure. I didn't know what Maryanne said, that there had never been a Muslim person make it past the merge. Huh. I can't recall hearing a whole lot about the different. There's probably hadn't been a whole lot of Muslim castaways.
Well, again, case in point, we wouldn't think about it. It wouldn't be in our mindset.
It's not our experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's Omar's experience. And so I appreciate that sharing.
Yeah, you hear facts about the game, so those kind of things always interest me. All right, so they decide they don't have to go up there and vote, and Maryanne and Drea both play their idols. Probe said, yep, these are idols, so they're immune along with Jonathan, so it's down to Lindsay and Tori.
Okay, I kind of thought Jonathan was putting it in a way that, okay, but yeah, y'all go play your idols. I still thought he had a mindset to the goal, well, okay, plan B, let's have them both use their idols, and we'll get a couple of idols.
I don't actually know what you're talking about.
Well, he was encouraging. He was telling Jeff something about, well, you know.
No, he asked.
I know, but
he didn't tell. He said, so they play their idols? And that's when Jeff said, well we have to see what they're.
Them.
Yeah.
And
he was just asking, how's this going to go down if we don't go up there and vote?
Well, but I thought he was drawing attention to it so that they.
I didn't read it that way.
Okay.
He just wanted to know what's going to happen then if we're not going to do what we normally do.
Yep. Okay. That's the way you read it. I kind of read it.
Could be different.
Let's encourage him to, let's say, hey, let them give their idols, Jeff.
Yeah. I don't.
Getting idols out of the game is good for me.
Like they said, they weren't trying to be all gamesmanship about things at that point, so I don't really think that was what was going on.
Well, I wondered.
Lindsay made a good pitch for herself, and Tori asked, well, okay, why are you voting for me? Drea said that you've been gunning for me since back in the Ika tribe. Tori didn't seem to agree with that, but she had. She had totally gunned for her back then.
Yeah.
And Johnson said, well, you lied to me.
Yep.
And you're certainly not as close as I am to Lindsay, so.
I don't know if she knew that or not, but you would think she would.
Yeah, if she's as perceptive as she thinks she is, she would have figured that out pretty quick.
Yep. So they forgo the voting booth. They clarified that all 4 votes would go to Tori. And she said, all righty then, I'm going to go play my shot in the dark. I'll be right back.
Good on her. She's had a presence of mind.
That's all I can do.
Yeah.
So.
Out of options.
And Maryanne said, you go, girl. Well, kind of. Okay, so it's like, wow, the realization being for Lindsay, if she gets the safe, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Just like that. Not a thing I can do.
Odds were in her favor, but.
The only other one that's not safe.
Yeah.
So, wow. I bet Jonathan was very relieved that he had that necklace.
Very much so. Okay, Tori's out. Not safe. She's gone.
Okay.
And she tells us God had decided for her.
I thought she handled it well, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't disagree with, okay, well, if she was supposed to stay, it would have turned out a different way. And obviously she wasn't, so it's time to go. And you kind of got a kick out of her as Jeff started to snuff her torch. And she was like, no, no, no. Jeff said, yes. So that was
I would have done that. I would have totally done that.
Oh, yeah. Snuffing your torch.
I know where that was coming from when he said that.
Okay, so next on Survivor, Omar.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
How about the overall episode? What do you think? I packed a heavy punch right in the gut at the end there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Certainly.
That was intense.
Don't want to, just like Jonathan and Lindsay had said, it hurts to see them hurting and feeling that way and having to deal with that and see that their game gets clouded with that kind of thing.
If you're a compassionate person, it does hurt to see people in pain.
Sure. If you have any empathy.
Whether you understand it or you don't understand it, as long as you recognize they're genuinely in pain and they're dealing with something here, then you can find compassion within yourself for that.
Right. So what did you think of the overall episode? 2 vote-offs, all happened in the course of a day.
Was really fast.
And it was a really short immunity challenge. reward challenge. I think it was probably 3 minutes, and it was done.
Well, I assumed that when they started it at 9 minutes after the hour, that we were going to have some long tribal counts.
You're going to be seeing some strategizing.
Or some fierce scrambling after the challenge, one or both. So I wasn't surprised by that. And the first one went pretty quickly, I thought, the first tribal council. It was the second one that was a lot more intense because of the first one. So I thought it was still a good episode, though I think it does make us feel awkward sometimes when we don't understand enough to really be a part of the conversation. Mm-hmm. So, but I enjoyed the episode nonetheless.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good discussion. Again, getting to see what that experience can be like and how overwhelming it can be to the point that it totally changes how you want to play the game. You know, Drea didn't want to do that. Maryanne didn't want to do that. They ended up in that space. And so now we move forward with 2 less idols in the game.
I think what's going to end up happening, though, is it's really going to turn this game on its head, and from next week's they're going to be running right out the gate.
I could tell you one prediction I have about somebody who's going to be really unhappy in the next tribal council.
In the next tribal council?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you're jumping ahead to the next tribal council.
Yes, that's when it's going to happen.
Spit it out.
Drea is going to take Mike's idol.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't she?
Yeah. So
she knows he's got it.
In a short amount of time, she's going to have another idol. So for her, it wasn't a total wash. It wasn't as big. It won't have as big an impact as it will for Maryanne.
I had actually thought if they weren't working together, she might take Maryanne's this week. You know, and just play one
I'll take
for
yours,
herself.
I'll play yours
I'll play
for me.
Mine, and I'll take yours.
Yeah, I'll play yours for me. Yes.
Now I still have one, and I'm safe. But
I wonder if she was able to think about all those options.
Man, I'm sure.
Of course, she wouldn't want to do anything that impacted Maryanne either. So
no, not under the circumstances. But I can't even imagine what all was spinning in her head that she could maybe do. Or
but I think Mike's gonna lose his idol. He's gonna be really, really unhappy, and Drea is gonna have another one here very, very shortly.
Okay, do you think Jonathan...
Either that or she'll take High's advantage, and then she'll play it. She'll get Lindsay to play it.
I think your boy High is going to
He's in trouble, huh? Okay, now for next time on Survivor.
No, we're going to discuss it.
What?
I think your boy's in trouble.
Well, yes, and that fits with next time on Survivor.
Okay. Omar says we need to pick the right person at the right time. Otherwise, you'll be next. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, but did you pick the right person at the right time, Omar? And are you going to be in trouble? I don't think he will, because he convinced High. High convinced Mike.
Yeah. And speaking of Mike, we see him talking to Jonathan, and he tells Jonathan, High lied to me. Do you know how pissed off I was? And then in a confessional, it follows it. And so we're sort of led to believe he's still talking about High. Mike says his head is in the guillotine, ready to be lopped off. But we don't know for sure. He could have been talking about some other...
He could have been talking about anyone.
Guy. Well, at least another guy.
Yep.
Because he said his.
Well, there's plenty of guys still living.
And we see High talking to Lindsay and asking her, you think Jonathan? At first I thought she shaked her head yes, but I'm not so sure now.
Shaked?
Yeah, that she shakes her head yes.
Okay, she shook her head.
Okay.
All right. Yes.
You want to have a tense?
Thought she did.
A verb tense disagreement? Okay.
Yes, I did. So.
And then High's in a confessional.
She shook her head yes, too.
Yeah, but we watched it again, and I thought, well, wait a minute, how did I see that? It's not as clear.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if she did or she didn't, because only she knows whether she means it or not.
You think?
Yeah, I think.
And then we see High in a confessional saying, I am open to this idea. Yes. And we see Drea talking to Lindsay, and Drea says, he's playing a bleeping good game. And Lindsay laughs with Drea, and then we see Drea saying, he has to go. Is she talking about Hi?
Could be, or Mike,
Omar?
or Omar, or Jonathan. Or
Yeah, but who do you think most likely?
Any of the he's.
Yeah, okay. You just want to leave it with that?
Well, because we don't know, and it could mean anything.
I think she's talking about Hi. I'm worried for Hi. I think Hi made a bad choice.
I think you should be worried.
And Hi's in trouble.
I think they want somebody to pay for that bad move.
Mm-hmm.
And since it was Hi that approached, I feel like Omar is kind of on the outskirts somehow, and that
we're not getting a clear read on this, are we?
He's still working both. No, because he doesn't seem to be under the gun like Hi would be.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I don't think he's in the final alliance. They've not talked about Omar being there at all. Just they were going to bring Roxroy with Hi, Jonathan, and Mike.
Right.
So I don't think Omar's going to take any of that heat. I don't think Romeo's going to take any of the heat. He was just happy not to be the one. So it's either Mike or Hi. But yeah, most likely Hi.
Hi, yeah. Okay, well, this is a complex one to score because we had 2 vote outs. It's not something the normal scoring mechanism allows us to do, so we'll have to wait to get the full details. But you said you had some partial updates on JSFL?
Were 18 people who lost their USB for Tori and 6 people for Roxroy. And there were 53 people who got a point for Roxroy, and there were 158 people for Tori.
Yeah, there's no surprise,
I was none of those people.
Yeah, I got Tori.
I had
Tori
nothing.
and Romeo.
So
I did get
was I being bold, honey?
Yeah, tad.
Mm-hmm. Or just ridiculous in my thought process. But either way, I got nothing. Actually, there were 33 people who got both Roxroy and Tori.
Congrats.
And these numbers don't include anybody whose picks rolled over. These are just the out of the 244 people who
You're doing
made
some quick
picks this
week. Counting.
Yes, it would be too much to go and dig it.
So we'll have the final updates. I mean, you can always go to the website and see for yourself, but we'll do a report out on Saturday when we do the listener feedback show. We'll come back and give you the full breakdown on a JSFL update. We would love to have you join us for the listener feedback show. We've been having a great time doing those this season. You can call and leave a voicemail, 206-350-1547. Toll free, 844-643-8737. You can send an email to joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. You can record your own audio. That's how you ensure you get the best quality, and send that as an attachment to the email address. We're looking forward to hearing what you thought about this episode. Another complex one with charged with lots of tense issues and things to consider for sure. I ask you to remember feedback's due noon Pacific time, not Sunday, Parker. Noon Pacific time on Saturday.
That's true.
Where Parker's email messed up.
He's done that a couple times.
We got one of his updates on a Sunday.
It's Sunday, Parker.
I listened to it, Parker. It was good, so you'll get at least an audience
we'll
of one,
it,
or two.
It won't get everyone.
He did good last week. He got it in time. Got it in early. So yeah, we ask that if you can't get it in early, that helps a lot. It takes many hours to get put the listener feedback show together. Not to mention just the time to record it and then do the production afterwards. So
I love it when people do such human things.
Yes.
Makes me feel better about myself.
Okay. Thanks, Parker. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Have a good one.